Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kasmi 107.1 FM and across the country at freenews.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. This afternoon, government to declare gun amnesty to curb proliferation of illegal firearms. Meanwhile, fresh attacks in Binduri in Upper East region renew concerns over Ghana's growing chieftaincy and land conflict. Also coming up on the program, Ashanti hospitals struggle as electronic health record system fails, compelling workers to return to outdated manual folders and paperwork. We'll engage our reporter who has the latest for us. And much later, Ghana TVET Services suspend heads of 3 technical institutions over allegations of unauthorized fee collection and extortion. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. The government of Ghana is set to declare a gun amnesty as part of efforts to curb the increasing spread of illicit firearms and the rising cases of gun-related violence across the country. The Minister for the Interior, in collaboration with the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, says the program will allow individuals in possession of unregistered or illegal firearms to surrender them without arrest, interrogation or prosecution. The ministry says the move aims to promote peace and public safety as illegal guns continue to fuel violence, turning minor quarrels and land disputes into deadly confrontations. Citizens are being urged to prepare to hand in such weapons once the amnesty is officially declared. In a statement, the Executive Secretary for the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, Dr. Adam Bona, emphasized that the exercise is not a witch hunt, but a national call to choose peace over violence and make Ghana safe for all. Let's speak to Reverend Kauni Soa. He is the acting head of communications and media at the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons. Good afternoon to you, Rev. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity.
Beyond what I just said, if you can tell us what is informing this policy decision.
All right, so thank you very much, and a warm afternoon to your viewers and listeners. So, this shows the commitment of the government and the Honorable Minister for the Interior in terms of fighting the proliferation of illicit firearms and the high incidence of gun-related violence in the country. Now, the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, led by the Executive Secretary, Dr. Adam Bona, tabled a series of policy directives and program and activities to the Honorable Minister to consider. And all these were to curb the proliferation of illicit firearms. And so after consideration, we see that the minister and the government is bent on fighting the proliferation. If we look at what happened in Garu, we look at the use of firearms in traditional authorities. The minister is bent on considering these policies. And one of the key policies in this cocktail of policy directives that we propose to the minister is a gun amnesty. And that is why we are prompting and trying to create the awareness that the minister, the Honorable Minister, is considering a gun amnesty. And Ghanaians should take advantage of it. Once in its wisdom, it thinks it is right to make the announcement. If you have an illicit firearm, we are telling you that when the time comes and the amnesty period is announced or declared, take advantage and surrender that firearm, because it makes the country peaceful and it helps us to develop as a people.
What happens if people are not willing to do so?
Well, from discussions, I can say that the minister is serious about fighting the proliferation. So if people do not take this activity serious, then I can tell you that the law will bite. The law will come after them. because there will be law enforcement. If the minister declares this and you don't want to take advantage, then I'm sure that the law will actually take its course and it will fight those who want to be miscreants or those who want to keep the firearms for criminal activities. Because if the minister declares an amnesty, which actually gives you peace and freedom, because during the period, if you read the statement, during the period, there will not be prosecution, questions will not be asked. You are just being asked to surrender the firearm without prosecution, without any charges. So if you don't want to take advantage, then it only goes to suggest that you want to keep or hold those firearms for criminal activities, and the law will clamp down on such people.
Are you able to tell us, Rev, when exactly this gun amnesty program will start?
Well, what I can say is that the minister is seriously considering this, and the minister is committed to fighting the proliferation. As to when he may declare, that lies in his bosom and wisdom. But we can tell Ghanaians to get ready because gun amnesty is coming.
And you talk about a window within which people are expected to submit, as it were, their guns voluntarily. Are you able to tell us how long that might last?
Well, like I said, the minister is still considering it. He is an expert, he's a technical person. So in his wisdom, once he's making those declarations, I'm sure he will put out the period. But what is important now is that we get ready as a people. What is important now is that we make up our mind to choose peace, to give our children hope. Because we can see that illicit firearms gradually is writing a story of sadness. Look at the fire festival. A family lost their child. What would they be associating with this fire festival come next year? It will bring them memories of the death of their child. It will bring them memories of murder, memories of a loss. And it is the same thing with the festival that happened in Teshi during the Omowo. You could see the carnage that happened. And so we are saying that these illicit firearms are gradually writing a story of fear, a story of death, a story of sadness, a story of sorrow and regret. We have an opportunity when the minister declares to change the story, to make it end. And that is what we are telling Ghanaians, to get ready.
Rev, if you can briefly tell us where people can safely surrender their firearms?
Definitely, you know that the Ghana Police Service, by law, are the lead agency when it comes to registering your firearms. So in the same vein, without preempting anything, because I know, like I've said earlier, and I want to give this disclaimer, that it is the Honorable Minister for the Interior who would determine all this.
Well, I have to end it here. Thank you very much. Reverend Kaoni Soa is the acting head of communications and media at the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons. 3 people have been killed in the Binduri district of the Upper East region after unidentified gunmen attacked their residence on Sunday, the 26th of October 2025. That's just yesterday. 2 others were injured and are responding to treatment. The attack comes just days after 4 people were shot dead in Garu, also in the Upper East region, when armed men stormed the NHIA district office. These incidents have heightened fears among residents and renewed concerns about the growing wave of insecurity linked to chieftaincy and land disputes across Ghana. The 2025 National Security Report indicates that the country currently has 503 active chieftaincy, land and ethnic conflicts, with 130 posing existential threat to peace and stability. The report warns that without decisive and collective action, these conflicts will continue to drain national resources and threaten Ghana's long-standing peace. To help us unpack the issues and explore way forward, we're joined by security analyst Emmanuel Coutinho. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Beatrice.
Indeed, you're aware that Ghana has been long seen as a beacon of peace in the sub-region, yet these conflicts keep recurring. What's driving the surge in local violence despite decades of peace-building effort, really?
Well, once again, good afternoon to your cherished listeners. I think what we are witnessing in the country today is self-inflicted because we have not taken proactive steps in addressing some of the underlying conditions that give rise to some of these things in the first place. Look, I dare say there's no insecurity in Ghana. Our challenge is poverty and underdevelopment. And if you look at all the indices of security, many people think security is just about raising the gun. No. We have the health, food, and anything that affects our business. There's an element of security in there. So if you look at the country today, we have one too many chieftaincy, land, and to some extent, ethnic conflict dotted across the country. And the mother of all is the Boku. And if you look at the violent extremist groups around the Sahel, because Boku has become ungoverned, many of them now use Boku as a transit point to for logistics and health. You see what is happening around Garu, the incident that happened, and Binduri yesterday. So government has to be intentional in its operational plan in tackling some of these things. We can no longer put foot on some of these issues at all. If you look at the elections in Cote d'Ivoire, Ivorians are trooping into our country. And it's not a good sign at all. Just yesterday, internet and other facilities in Cameroon were cut off because the youth took to the streets because of the shambolic elections that took place there. And as usual, ECOWAS has remained quiet. So Ghana can no longer live in the mirage of regional security. That pact is broken long time. So we have to take our destiny into our own hands by addressing the underlying conditions that give rise to some of these challenges to begin with. Otherwise, I'm not a prophet of doom, but a lot of things can happen in this country that can overwhelm the government.
Indeed, and what you realize is that many of the time disputes seem to reignite after mediation. What gaps do you see in terms of conflict resolution systems?
You see, our mediation tool is not intentional to get to the bottom of the matter. More often than not, they are cosmetic to gain public sympathy. Because if you look at most of our mediation efforts over the period, it doesn't go anywhere. Is it the case that we don't have the capacity in that field, or it is the case that it's politics as usual? So these are some of the warning signs government will have to look at and just hold the bull by the horn.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel Kuting. He's a security analyst. Thank you for sharing those views with us. Some 13 minutes past the hour of 12. When we come back, we'll bring you some more. Don't go away.
Hello, Ghana. It's a new year.
The ongoing litigation over the paramountcy. They say that the beleaguered paramount chief, Awulai Amehie, Panyile III, who is the only signatory to the Council Development Bank account, is now unable to append his signature due to the court case, thereby halting some major developmental initiatives in the area. Irama Smith brought us this report.
In 2024, the Queen Mother of the Eastern Nzema Paramountcy, Abulahima Avonyima III, together with the Busuapenyin of the Eastern Nzema royal family, Frank Kwasi, filed a petition at the law court against Awolai Amehye Panyile III, accusing him of gross misconduct and incompetence. While the case was in court, the Indrafo royal family installed a new paramount chief, Awolai Blade IX. At a press conference in Takrady, the chief of Anya, Nana Simali Panyile V, expressed frustration over the current situation. According to him, since Awolai Panyile III is the only signatory to funds from major companies operating in the Nzema enclave, development in the area is being hampered.
But as at now, nothing comes.
So which means that we're not getting anything.
We are not getting anything because they have occupied the place, and the place too is there. All the documents are, and that man calling himself as a paramountcy, he have no right to sign any check to any chief because the signature doesn't go anywhere apart from a William Shapani, the fifth, the third.
He called on security agencies to urgently intervene in order to prevent tensions in the area from escalating.
The security should intervene for peace to prevail. If not, it will be a disaster.
Irama Smith, Takrady.
Now, the minority in Parliament has criticized the government for not submitting policy documents for its flagship programs and initiatives like the 24-hour economy. Ranking member of the Economy and Development Committee, Kojo Ponkroma, has told journalists that the move is undermining parliamentary oversight despite a directive by the President for ministers to lay the program document before the legislature. It follows remarks by the majority leader who had earlier said that the details of those flagship programs were exhausted at the relevant committees during the consideration of the program.
The big economic policy that is submitted just mentions these programs, that will do a 1 million coders program aimed at training 1 million people for digital skills. People will say here, a figure is put by it. The minister will show up at committee level to defend his whole budget is approved. It doesn't mean that the program document has been brought to Parliament or has even been published. So as at now, you have 11 programs and initiatives that this government has launched on various platforms, and ministers have been giving hundreds of millions of Ghana cedis ostensibly to go and execute them. I can take you through the list. 1 million coders program, the 24-hour economy program, the jobs export program, the Jumera program, the National Apprenticeship Program, the Tree for Life Program. Many people don't even know about it. The Accra Reset Program, the President launched it at the UN. The One Child, One Tree Initiative. Then quite recently, they've launched the Ghana Infrastructure Plan, the Free Tertiary for Persons with Disabilities, and then the No Free Stress Program. These are about 11 programs government has launched. And our argument is that not one of them has had the program document that tells you, so what is the target, what is the selection criteria, what is the results framework, what are the key performance indicators, so that you can exercise oversight. Even if not just by us members of Parliament, you, the media, do you know the details? Do civil society members know the details? Does the general public know? How does even an ordinary person know and access? So it's important that the program documents are properly laid before Parliament so that the work of oversight can start. My intelligence suggests that it's even been discussed at Cabinet, and the President has instructed that the minister should bring the program documents to Parliament. So I think it's important. We don't need to run away from it. The program documents need to come so that now Parliament is seized with it, and then oversight can start.
And he had Kojo Ponkroma. He's the ranking member on Parliament's Economy and Development Committee. The new school year has again ignited the debate on the acceptable or appropriate hairstyles for students in senior high schools. Over the weekend, the Minister for Education, Haruna Idrisu, instructed the Ghana Education Service to enforce strict hair grooming rules in senior high schools, a directive which has been received with mixed reactions from the public, civil society groups, parents and students. The Education Minister said that if the Ghana Education Service allows for students to keep bushy hairstyles, it will pave way for other forms of indiscipline.
Togbe, the Deputy Director General of the GES is here. Chairman of the GES Council is here. There is an ongoing debate in social media about haircuts and size and length of hair in secondary schools. We will not tolerate it today. We will not tolerate it tomorrow. And so long as we are molding character, if we give in to hair today, tomorrow it will be shoes. And the next day it will be the way they dress. Therefore, as part of our disciplinary measures, headmasters and GES, you are accordingly empowered to take full control of how students behave on your campuses. So anybody who thinks that your child will walk into any institution of learning as if that child, forgive my words, was to attend a beauty contest, the school environment is not for that purpose and not cut for that purpose, and would not tolerate that as an institution.
And you heard that the Education Minister Haruna Idrisu was speaking on New Day earlier today on TVET with me, the Executive Director of Children's Right Advocacy Organization, Charles Wright International, Brighter Pia, said the country should develop a legal standard to enforce some of these standards.
We cannot speak in vacuum. And I wonder the basis from which the minister made that statement. And for us to be able to do that, we should be able to have a standard to be able to speak to some of these issues. It's not just a matter of saying that children should not keep their hair, but you should be able to have a standard and regulation that you can speak to say that these regulations that you have do not violate any right of any child, do not violate the constitutional provisions, do not violate the Children's Act, and it is supporting to enhance education. On that basis, we should be able to say that we can have some of these rules and regulations, because for me, we don't have, at the national level, we don't have any standards that will be the basis for which the minister will make that statement. If we do, then we have to measure that standard against all the provisions that we have, whether or not it's a matter that violates any right. If it doesn't, then fine, so be it. But if it does, then we also need to go back to look at how best we can structure the whole thing. And for me, it is easy for us to do this because the court has made certain pronouncements to be able to draw the distinction between how children can keep their hair on the basis of certain principles. One, the court is looking at issues of religion, and then the court is also looking at issues from a lifestyle of our children. So if it's on the basis of religion, then the court has made pronouncement on it. And if it's a lifestyle, then it is a standard that must determine as to how children must live their lives in a school. We don't want a situation where people can use their own discretion to determine how discipline should be administered. And the basis of that is what makes it a bit difficult for us to have some of these things done in a manner that is supposed to be. So if we want it to be like that, children should not keep their hair to a certain level, then we need to have standards, and those standards should not violate any constitutional provision or even the Children's Act.
And you had the Bright Apia. He's the Executive Director of Charles Wright International, speaking earlier on New Day. Some parents also share their thoughts on the matter.
It's not good to leave your head. Yeah. But personally, if you are educated or you are a normal human being, you are upcoming child, the parents or the guardian will have to let you know that if he is threatening you or giving you upgrade on all what you have to go in the school education, you shouldn't leave your hair anyhow like that. So you have to be neat. You have to be neat in schooling and everything as you do.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Now why nice? As a school girl. Sana me titini who say, oh, Kuswa, you don't nice.
And you heard some parents. Let's go to the Ashanti region now, because the failure of the National Digital Health Record System is causing delays and frustration at government hospitals across the Ashanti region, forcing a stressful return to manual pen and paper methods. A visit to multiple facilities revealed that medical staff have been compelled to dust off old patient folders, a process that has drastically slowed service. The electronic lightwave health information management system designed to streamline care is currently inoperative. And let's speak to Ibrahim Abubakar, who joins us live now. Ibrahim, if you can tell us which facilities you have visited and how this inoperative system, as it were, is affecting healthcare delivery.
Well, Beatrice, I've visited 4 major hospitals in the Ashanti region: the Konfanoti Teaching Hospital, Sintresu Government Hospital, Ejuso Government Hospital, and also the Menshia District Hospital. So 3 of these hospitals, talk about Konfanoti, Sintresu, and Ejuso, have currently reverted to the old folder system of entering medical records. And this is even affecting turnaround time. And there have been patients who have come for 5-6 hours. They've not been attended to. They are still at the OPD because of this new system. For Menshia Government Hospital, fortunately for them, because they have a local system which has all their database, they've been able to switch to that system. And for them, the pressure is not as intense as these facilities that I've mentioned. We know that this system is also an electronic platform. That's the Lightwave Health System Information Management System. It was an electronic platform that was introduced by the Ministry of Health to improve healthcare delivery. So it is basically to digitalize patient records. So when you come and you visited the facility before, they just enter your name and all your information will pop up. Now with the old system, they have to spend hours search for the folder before they even attend to you. And for most patients, they are frustrated. They are spending long hours in the hospital without being catered for. And some have even decided that they will move to private facilities for those care. Let's listen to some of the frustrations the patients have been sharing with me.
The I used to I'm so much in computer and the folder. And that's why I never know now you slow. Yeah, it's from about 7. I'm in for them. We use our best to lie our daughter. So, but on the cock dilaw. Then we can have a customer who wants to use our material can be corporate hospital. Monday, the economy die.
And you heard that some patients at hospitals within the Ashanti region complaining about the challenge. You heard our reporter Ibrahim Abubakar talk about the fact that there is that electronic system which is not working, and therefore the doctors and nurses have had to go through manual process of getting the data of patients before attending to them. Let's go to George Quainin now. He's currently at one of the houses of the late former First Lady Nana Konadu Rawlings. George, if you can tell us where exactly you were and what you can tell us.
Okay, Beatrice, thank you so much. Good afternoon to all our cherished listeners. So I'm coming to you live from the residence of the late former First Lady, and this is the Rich residence. And today actually is a resumption of the family meeting where they meet mourners, sympathizers, friends and loved ones who always come here to, extend their condolences and show their solidarity. And when I got here, some notable personalities that have come through is the former Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Betty Modi-Drisu, and some members of the Council of State. She led the Council of State and assured families that they want to take keen interest in the decision-making process for the burial of the late former First Lady. And I also saw some past TDS of the country, and I saw some members of Parliament. And then the sport fraternity was here. It was led by the Minister of Sport, Kofi Adams, and also the GFA President, Kurt Okweku, was also here. And they left some minutes ago. So a lot of people are expected to come through today. And last week, the former president, Nana Akufo-Addo, was here together with the wife, and former Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was here to send love to the family to ensure they sustain the loss. So hopefully, by the close of this, some notable big personalities actually you know of who may have come through and then in the book of condolence as well.
Thank you very much, George Quainin. And that's it for the Midday News here on 3FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Coming up shortly is Business Daily. Michael Obudu is standing by.